All right. Hello and welcome to the show today. Oh my goodness. I am so excited to be joined today by the amazing and legendary Kuba Zwolinski, who is the CEO and founder of Snowdog. And Kuba and I met at Meet Magento in Miami a couple months ago, and we actually spoke. He spoke right after me. So that was super fun for us. And I'm honored to have him on the show today. So, Kuba, welcome to the show. How are you today? How is Poland?
Nicole, thank you very much. I'm super excited to be here. Like all our conversations are amazing, and I couldn't wait for this one. So yeah, I'm great. It's a holiday in Poland. It's a nice sunny day, almost like a summer. So it's really a nice day. Nice afternoon, I actually. So I think the perfect moment to have a nice chat. So thanks for
Yeah.
inviting me, and I'm glad to be here.
I know we started the chat early. That's why we started the live late, because we were just chatting off camera about going deep on AI, and it was such a fantastic conversation. I looked at the clock and I'm like, oh my gosh, Kuba, we got to go live. People need to hear this amazing conversation. So yeah, this is so great. And I'm just so excited. Every time we chat, it's just so insightful and thought-provoking. And I'm excited for our audience to hear that. So if you're tuning in, make sure to jump on the chat, say hello, and let's dive in. So I want to know, what is inspiring you right now, Kuba? What is it that's really lighting you up and getting you super excited just in life and business in general? What's exciting you?
Yeah, I think in business it's just learning and discovering. After running business for 16 years, something like that, I thought that I'm smart, I know so much, but just now I got to the point that I know how much I don't know. And this is really an inspiration to keep learning, to keep discovering the best path, like not just to follow somebody else's path, but trying to find our own. And definitely, looking at some business who made success without really focusing on pure growth and money. Of course, famous Patagonia, my favorite one. That I really always like to look at them to see that they succeeded. They built a great brand, but at least they tried. They tried to do a lot for in this so-called CSR to just lead the charge and show how it can be done. But this is one thing. And the other thing is more close to my business. Like Patagonia is a production company. Snowdog is a service company. And for me, the last year, when the whole market of IT services was really shaken up, and there were so many changes and disruptions. So right now, it's all about optimizing work. How we can work much smarter, deliver better results, because like working smarter and delivering good enough doesn't mean delivering something wrong or poor quality, but learning how we can do it in a best way to get the best quality for the project, for the job, but in the same time to keep the human factor. Don't forget that our team members, project managers, developers, all specialists who are part of every project delivery process, there are people. And it's not about optimizing a business like a machine. It's like trying to find this way, especially when we are facing a challenging time, it's a great inspiration. Like that testing and trying different ways, and at the same time, looking small success here and there. This is always a very inspiring.
Oh, I love all of that. I mean, first of all, the fact that you've been in business for 16 years, kudos to you. That's a massive achievement. Most businesses do not make it that long. So the fact that you've been able to do that, and I see your humility, and I think as a business leader, you have to be so humble in order to survive. And I love what you shared about really how you're really trying to learn how to bring out the humanity and how to, that human side of running a business. That is so smart and so prescient, I think, because with all of the forces of AI that are, is coming upon us, and artificial intelligence is artificial, and trust is getting so much more difficult for brands to earn from their customers. Trust is currency. So difficult. And, I just came off this amazing marketing retreat where we were talking a lot about trust and how brands can build trust and how it's going to be harder. And the one thing we kept coming back to, because of the forces of AI that are happening, is this feeling of the most human brand is going to win. My marketing mentor, Mark Schaefer, said that the most human brand wins. And I think you're really onto something by focusing on that with your team internally, because those are your brand advocates. If your team feels and safe, psychologically safe, and like they're not just a cog in a wheel, and that they're going to show up for your customers that way, and your customers are going to feel that human connection to your brand. What do you think?
Yeah, but it's like with everything. We need a balance. We need this yin and yang in the whole process. Because if we go too far into relationships and forget that business is business, and we will try to run it as a family and friends, it will fail too. So this is like trying not go too far into Excel and just pure numbers and numbers in the statistics, but also don't go the other way. So this is only a very, very narrow path between two huge holes. And I think that's why it's so challenging. It's not like you can just make a bunch of friends, and with those friends everything will be flying without problems. It's like it's a combination of process, but process who are not which are not dehumanizing everything. Sometimes it's tempting, to change everything. Let's just base everything on numbers and forget that there are real people behind numbers. And the other way is also easy. Like, let's forget about numbers. We are great friends. We are having fun, and it's all about being cool. And none of them will work. So that's finding this path is the most important thing right now.
Man, you always challenge me. I love it.
Very
good.
I'm challenging myself. So
yeah. No, but I think what you're onto something though is like that. It's like an art and a science. It's finding that fine line between navigating that fine line is really what's going to make you as a business sink or swim going forward. Figuring out how you can layer in AI and some of the automation, right? That's going to help create some efficiencies in your business, while still identifying what are the parts of your business that need that more human element.
Because human element in our work is the most interesting and beautiful element of that thing.
Yes.
The whole business. But in the same time, we all know that the human element may be also the most disturbing and problematic element in this puzzle.
The hardest to manage, right?
Yes. Yeah. So it's that's why this balance is so difficult. Sometimes it's so tempting to go, only to one side. But after all, we all spend at work so much time. I think that trying to find this balance should be a goal for many people running a business. Just to in this world of AI, like always remembering that it's not only AI, that we should keep this human factor as an important element. So, well, we'll see, but like this is definitely we can see some business that are trying to find this balance and they succeed. So it is doable. Maybe not the easiest way, but that should be doable.
Yeah, I mean, Patagonia has been able to figure it out. There's so many other. Cotopaxi is another one. I don't know if you've heard of Cotopaxi, but they are a really incredible mission-driven org too, that does a lot of work. They donate. I can't remember exactly what they donate, but they donate a ton of resources as well. So Cotopaxi is another one. Man, this is fantastic. So my friend Andrew's chiming in. Hi, Andrew. Nice to see you. Thanks for joining us today.
Hello, Andrew.
So that leads me to this. I have my questions, but I'm thinking about community, because as we look ahead, and we think about what's really going to kind of hold humanity together as we feel these forces of AI. And I think right now we're kind of in this loneliness epidemic that's happening because of social media, and people are separated from their families. And, it's just the forces of society today have led to more of this kind of, a little bit of an epidemic. And so community seems to me as like a way for us to kind of solve that issue. And I think that you are a great example of community building. You've been part of the Magento community for, man, way back since the beginning, right? I'd love to get your opinion on what do you think about like your experience in building community, being part of community? How has that helped you as a person, as a business owner? And what do you see the role of community being going forward and finding community?
So I think first we need to start with that we need communities. We need some groups that we belong to. Right now, you're right. Like especially in this tech business, people don't have to come to the office, so they don't. But in the same time, one of the most popular benefit and one of the most successful startups are those providing online psychological help. So people are feeling better staying at home and working remotely with business all over the world, but in the same time, more and more often they need also remote help. So that sometimes it's just someone that you can talk to, but the real life communities or offline communities, we can see some kind of the renaissance of that. Like I'm in the Magento community since 2011. I think the first official Magento conference, and that was something that really attracted me to that platform. First I started, it was a good tool. But then when I learned about people around that, about all the open source e-commerce platform movement, that really was, it kept me really inspired. Like, what you asked in your first question. So those communities were very important. And for years, I was spending a lot of my time in building communities, organizing Meet Magento conference in Poland, helping Meet Magento organizers around the world, just promoting Magento all over the world. But not really Magento as a technology, but Magento as a core of the community.
Yes.
But I think communities, for a moment, at least in Magento community, there was a slowdown during pandemic, maybe because, the core of the community, the physical events, they were put on hold. But right now we can see that it is coming back. We can see that people want to meet. There are more and more Meet Magento events around the world again. So this is a sign that pandemic hasn't changed it for good. That it was a temporary change. People stopped meeting, but right now they want to meet again. And it's a little bit about knowledge sharing, but we can exchange knowledge online. It's like we don't need conference, we don't need meetup for that, but we still want to meet. So yes, like for me, communities are super important, but in the same time, I also after those years, I see some downsides. I can see that every community sooner or later is becoming a bubble, and living in a bubble is always bad. You see some things only with your eyes and the eyes of your friends or people in the community. So it's important to leave this box and leave this bubble and look around. And like every community, there are some people who are super active and there are some people who are just following. And if this balance is wrong, also the community can just from a healthy community change to something that it's just on the paper that So like there's also a different aspect of community depending on the business. It's much easier to create a community when the market is less competitive. So definitely the start of Magento ecosystem was easy because there was a great system and there was a huge demand for Magento services. So there was almost no competition. Everyone had work, and it was clients were waiting in line. So in this environment, it's really good to have a community. You can help each other, exchange resources, exchange knowledge. But when the market changes And right now there are more platforms. It's not only Magento. There are a lot of great platforms, tools for building whatever you like. And it's harder. Everyone is competing, and those knowledge sharing, it's still there. But on a business level, it's much harder. On the freelance level, on the single, individuals, it's the same. But it's business which is actually powering the community. Like individual people, at some point they can dedicate some time, but we also have like private life. It's not like we can spend everything just for the business and for the community. It's wrong. It's wrong. So like I can tell it from my own experience that sometimes that's what we started discussing before we went live, that being really passionate about your business sometimes may be dangerous, because involvement in business and communities is really blending with your private life and your hobby and everything. And then you at some point you don't know if you are still working or if you are right now on holidays or having your free time, or it's really hard. So communities are still, I think, super important, but it's good to understand that it's not only community, it's not a religion. It's more like a bunch of smart people around some tool that can add a little bit to that to make it better. It will not create like a huge movement, but it needs coordination from the business. Like it's not a community that can be really run by itself. It needs a strong support from business around, because it's a business community.
Yeah.
After all, we don't do it just for fun. There has to be a business purpose for that.
Yeah, I think you make a great point about, I think about all the great communities I've been part of, and they are business driven, typically. Most of them, brands that I love, or even marketing groups that I'm a part of, communities that I'm a part of, it's all business driven. So I think that's a really key point. And I'm actually really intrigued by this idea that community's not, that there's a downside to community. I think that's such an important point, of it almost being a little bit, it can have the potential to be like an echo chamber. And you do have to be very conscious about, making sure that you're hearing other voices. I just met with a wonderful woman who was talking about how the dangers of social media today is that everything is so curated that you're just basically fed content. You're not actively choosing the content that you receive when you go on social media. They're telling you, they're sending you the content. And she deliberately gets the newspaper, a physical newspaper every week that she reads through, because she wants to force herself to not just take curated content and read the things that she wouldn't just be fed, right? To kind of force herself to get out of the echo chamber. I thought that was really a smart way to intentionally try to do that, because over time, I think these algorithms are only going to make it harder and harder, and people are going to be in these little echo chambers, and we have to, how can we create, what do you think? We're going off topic. I'm like, what do you think about that? And then we'll talk more about customer experience for e-commerce.
It is about customer experience.
Yeah.
We are customers of those news and informations. And I think it is a great idea to force yourself to see different informations, different news. But the big problem is that it's kind of masochism. I don't know. So it's you're hurting yourself, because you will have to accept some of those informations you don't like.
Yeah.
In social media, we choose our friends. We ban people we don't like. So all the informations we get, they are super nice. There are informations we were expecting that we want to hear. Usually, of course, but this is our point of view. So the same, like our community, our bubble, like we hear only like the stuff that we like. And going outside and listening to different sources, that's difficult, because then you have to sometimes accept that there is something that you don't like, but it is true, whatever. Yeah, that there's a different point of view, and it can make your life harder. So with social media, may be easier. It's like like Matrix. You are right there, lying in your chamber and being fed with everything. It's nice, and it's like you have no problems, and then you go outside of matrix, and the life is really tough and difficult, and it's like shit, let's better go back to matrix. But like actually, social media is like our matrix. We just go to this matrix, use it, and we stay there. Yeah, like we have our own Instagram bubble, Facebook bubble, LinkedIn bubble, whatever.
Oh, you're so right. And there is like a psychological dopamine hit that you get when you go on these social media platforms and the likes and the comments and everything. I feel like as humans, we are wired to just want comfort and pleasure. It's difficult for us to want to go anywhere else. But there's danger there if, like, sometimes I think we're trying to avoid the pain and not try to face the pain or the discomfort, and lean into it. That's what I really respect about you. When you were just talking at the beginning of the show about, like, what are you inspired by? Like, what I heard from you is you were inspired by the challenge. Like, you're really like diving into the challenge of how do I figure out how to move this business into the future, and what do I need to do? And that is an example of where people need, like, how can we lean into the pain, the discomfort, the challenge, and know that it's going to be hard, but that's where we're ultimately going to have the most impact and growth and, make the most difference.
Yeah, challenges are good. Sometimes they're just maybe too challenging, but
you're like the devil's advocate.
yeah, always. Yeah, but back to communities.
Yeah,
it was really like a huge part of my life, and those years I don't regret it. I met amazing people, and that's what really built my like a point of view on many things. So the community opened a lot of doors. That you have those people in different places, in different cultures, and you have one topic that connects you in this business. So maybe even if you compete, you can cooperate on some different level. Like, I don't know if you remember the competition term. This is like competition and cooperation, or cooperation and competition. And it's difficult. Of course, the more mature businesses and more competitive market, the competition becomes way harder. But I think it still exists. There is still some point where companies and individuals too can cooperate to compete on much higher level. So in this term, we just help innovation, because we don't have to reinvent the wheel, but we just focus on a better innovation. So the communities, they are different, and they need a good understanding on a different in a different position of business. But yeah. For me, definitely, it's an important part. Like, I cannot imagine working with a technology that it's not surrounded by a community, by some business and people who wants to contribute, who wants to help.
Yeah,
but the technology also has to be ready for that, because it cannot be just a pure commercial technology that it's not giving anything for free. It's like that. If something like that happens, every community sooner or later will disappear, because we are willing to help, to contribute, but sooner or later we want to see something back. So that's without that, it's difficult to keep being really inspired to be still in the community.
Spoken like a true capitalist.
Maybe. Yeah. I wouldn't describe myself with those words, but yeah, like maybe maybe.
No. Well, I'm really impressed by the community at Meet Magento. I think coopetition, is that what you said? Coopetition? It's very clear that, it's really cool to see all of these folks who are competitors coming together and really supporting each other, helping each other. And I think from my perspective as an idealist, I think there's room for everyone, right? Wherever you're at, there's room for everyone to support each other and to win business. Anyway,
there is one thing you have to remember. I think this is super important, that you, at some point, you stop asking if you get exactly the same what you contributed, because this is a very dangerous moment when you think, why I'm giving so much and I don't get anything, or I get only a little bit back. So if you start asking this question, that may be like a very dangerous moment in the whole community, because it all works when you don't think about it. Like sometimes you just contribute and someone else will get the benefit, not you, and then it works. But if you are looking for a direct reward for that, then it's not a community of contributors anymore. It's more like a barter business. Yeah, like you don't get money, but you get the same value in something else. So that's super important. Don't expect exactly the same value of reward for your contribution in the community. Yeah, it's more distributed.
I see what you're meaning. There's like a difference between it being transactional versus connecting and relationship driven, right? And it sounds, the communities that are really healthy and strong and going to survive are the ones that are really focused on the connection, the relationship, rather than how it being a transactional type of experience.
Yeah, of course, that's just my experience from one community and like from my point of view, but looks like it may work for other communities too.
I think there's a lot of truth to that and wisdom. And I loved too what you said too about when you're very passionate about something. This is something you mentioned a little bit earlier. Sometimes in business, if you're too passionate about it and you want it to be too perfect, it actually can harm or hurt, what you're trying to accomplish, especially in business. And you have to find that fine balance. I think that's really wise advice. Well, let's talk about customer experience. You've been doing a lot of work in this area, Kuba, specifically talking about what brands can be doing to cultivate the ideal customer experience that really is accessible to everyone, as many people as possible. And so I'd love for you to share a little bit about kind of what led you to this point. And when you think about, creating a world-class customer experience, what do you see are some of the top priorities that brands need to be thinking about when they're creating that experience?
I think the whole experience is about being unified across different channels. It's important that we are not creating different experiences, but every brand has the same feeling that wherever you touch the brand, you will get the same customer experience, or because that gives you you feel more secure. That is the same brand you trust, and of course every piece of every touch point should reflect that the same vision and bring you a little bit of that customer experience. So right now we are like customer experience in general is super interesting, because what we are building, if it's Magento, Commerce Tools, Shopify, whatever, it's just a tool, and it's on SI, system integrators, and of course the merchants, retailers, how they use it, what experience they will create. Like no technology can create an experience by itself, and right now it's all about understanding the customer and understand what experience this customer is expecting. For years we were collecting enormous amounts of data, with Google and or different other tools. We were collecting a lot of data, but in most cases this data was lost. We were just tracking if we have the right conversion, if we lose client here or there. But right now with AI, it's not really AI, it's machine learning. So we have like amazing machine learning tools to get something from this data and get a better understanding what experience is really our customer expecting. Because like we may know, like some people can run a business for 30 years and they claim that they know everything about their customers. And yes, they know something about some groups of customers, but customers are also evolving and they have a different experience in different moments of life. You could have a great experience visiting a showroom or a brick and mortar store of the brand, and then you go to the website and you expect something else, like
Mm.
so analyzing data, and I think it can give you a different point of view and give you something that people may just miss in this data. And of course, it can give you some results that you don't like. This is something we were talking about before, that we want to see the image that we like, and then you will see from those data that maybe we have to do something different, and then it will completely change the how people are experiencing the brand. So customer experience, user experience is super interesting, and it takes us also to where we will place AI in all that experience. That's something that we briefly discussed before the show, like how all those language models and bots, voice bots, can change the customer experience. Like many brands, they are building their advantage of having an amazing customer service. You know, like people who know everything and they are super helpful, and there are super skilled people there, and they are very hard to find, to train, to keep. It's like that they are like a really the big value of the brand. But now where we can see all those voice bots that are becoming super smart, and they are always nice and always have a good mood and knowledge about everything. And then there is a big question if that will be even better customer experience, because if we cannot recognize if this is a human or not, that's what you said, that the real winners will be brands who will keep this human factor. But the thing is how we recognize that this human factor is there. So the customer experience will be a very interesting field right now, because if everyone will be using the same AI tools to build the same customer experience, we'll have the same customer experience everywhere. And how to build advantage if our models will be suggesting similar solutions based on similar data?
Oh, this is so good. It's so good, because I think I'm immediately thinking about so many small businesses that I've worked with who really, that has been their differentiator. We have great customer service. We're not going to, when someone calls, they're not going to get a phone tree that's going to be directed to someone else, right? And so that makes me very worried for these small businesses who don't have access to the same level of technology. How are they going to survive and compete? How are they going to be able to keep up? And, that's scary to me, because I think small business is such a critical and important part of any ecosystem. And I think there's danger if, I just think that scares me.
But that's what happened. What is happening everywhere? That's from retail to completely different industries like agriculture or any business. There is a consolidation, and at some point, the small business it just don't have enough resources to make the next step, and it's not really. I think it's not really destroying the really small, very specialized boutique business, because they will always stay, because it's enough for them to have only a couple of clients. But it will be super hard for this lower mid-market business that are there, and they are doing a decent amount of money, but they cannot afford so cool technology. They cannot afford so big orders to keep the pricing down. It's hard for them to offer so competitive logistics, like a same-day shipping, delivery, and so yeah, maybe that's like something we will have to face it. That a lot of the smaller businesses, they will have to disappear, which is sad. Which is sad because they were making it interesting. They are different, not perfect. Like if everything will be perfect, like a perfect logistics, perfect marketing strategy, I don't know. That's something I cannot really imagine.
Right? It's boring.
Yeah, exactly. It's
You know,
boring. You like,
I think about like, I mean, there's some really big brands that I think are really doing cool stuff that aren't boring. But there's a lot of brands that start out really cool when they're small and then they get bigger and they just turn vanilla and boring, you know? And that's, that that's sad. That's
yeah,
sad for me.
yeah. But let's look at the bright side. And right now, also the tools are becoming more affordable.
Yeah,
So the smart people
that's true.
right now, tools are just tools. They're stupid. Like you still need to how to ask them, how to train them, and they need smart people to tune them to make them really useful.
Yeah.
So at this moment, they are just a tool. Maybe more cool and fancy, but it's a tool. Without people, they are nothing, and they are affordable. So we'll see. Like there's nothing we can really change. We can learn how to use it. We can uh, just try to build it in our operations and business, and yeah, and look what will what will be next.
Well, I think you raise a really interesting like future about having these chat bots that are so advanced because the AI has just gotten so good that they would actually be better than a human at providing customer service. And I was just talking with someone who went to the South by Southwest conference who, I was telling him how much we do these interviews with our customers to get content, and that interviewing is a real skill, right? Like it's not something that everyone is very good at. And that seems to be like a core differentiator, is like how well you can interview. And he was like, well, actually, there's actually now technology companies that are building interviewers that are basically AI chatbots, where you could actually go and say, you know what, I want to be interviewed by someone who is a 42-year-old male with this background and this level of education. And you could basically choose who interviews you. And I just thought to myself, like, oh my goodness, it's just amazing to think how much AI can replace a lot of the work that we do that we think is just irreplaceable. But, who knows what it's going to be like down the line, which kind of leads me to my next question for you, which is about trust, right? Trust is going to be so much more important for brands, for companies in the customer experience. And what would you say are like some clear signals of trust that people can kind of rely on as AI starts to take over more and more of the interface between customers and brands? What are some signals of trust that brands can kind of hold their hat on or build on that would be connection points with customers in your mind?
Maybe also that showrooms are somehow
Mm,
coming back to e-commerce. Like most of the serious e-commerce, they want to bring some physical presence, even if it doesn't have really a financial, sense, because usually showrooms are expensive. They are not really bringing the return of investment if you just look
yeah.
at this channel. But in the same time, it's definitely a different type of trust. Like even for me, like when I'm
Mm,
trying to shop online and I don't know the store, I'm looking for something and it looks okay, but it's like I don't know if I can trust. And I can
yeah.
see if there is a physical location, if there is an actual place I can go and see if those people are really taking care about details. Because like online is easier. Like like soon maybe you can just make a prompt, hey, build me a nice e-commerce store that will be selling pillows and it will be targeting middle-aged men. I don't know, whatever. And if I want to buy a pillow and I would like to go to the store and see if those people there, if they care about details. This is like a small things that can build a trust. So
Yeah.
to see that the brand made a little bit more effort. So this is something that maybe will bring back new generations to retail. That e-commerce will be too easy to fake. Like you cannot trust anything. Yeah, like it's really like at some point, someone watching this live cannot be sure if we are real.
Right?
And there may
Isn't
be
that
just two bots chatting, and it would be super hard to recognize that. Yeah, that it would be like a chat, like a bot trained to do something like that, talk about this this range of topics, sometimes make jokes, sometimes make mistakes, sometimes say something stupid. And it's, like it's a perfect way we can, because the same, you can create a perfect interviewer, but you can also create a perfect image. Like, for example, I can ask, hey AI, I want to be on the show and I want to get some attention from this kind of people. So please build me the right image of Kuba and build
So,
the story that this bot will be talking about, just to attract this kind of customers. Yeah, because we are here to build business. We are here to have a nice chat, but also, to just talk to other people on the internet and somehow attract them to talk to us after the show. So creating that with AI is super tempting. Just like we are human, we talk sometimes really weird stuff and make a lot of stupid mistakes. And bot will do only trained mistakes. That's even better.
I mean, it's a blessing and a curse, right? Like every great technology, nuclear technology, smartphones, right? Tremendous upsides, tremendous downsides. So, in that scenario where you could basically curate a bot of yourself, right, to show up for this interview, Kuba, and you wouldn't have to be here, you just send your bot, what would you be doing? What would be the work or the time? How would you be spending your time? That's what I think about. Like I was talking to someone who there's actually companies now who are developing these humanoid robots that will deliver your pizza, come into your house, set your table for you, and wash your dishes afterwards. Right. So then, of course, my brain goes, okay, well, eventually I could just have my own in house maid who would just do all my dishes for me and all my clothes washing, and my kids would never have to do their chores. Right. Then I think to myself, what would I be doing with my time? How would you be spending your time, and how would I be spending my time if we had these, you know? What do you think? What would you be doing with
Uh,
your time? Would you be sitting on the
for,
beach in Tahiti, or what would you be doing
No,
instead?
for me it's kind of easy. Like I
Mm,
try to distribute my time um, in different activities. So all
yeah.
I did for years, I was trying to find a reason to do that. So like I can imagine doing a lot of volunteering, and that would be like
Mm.
I would love to work, but not having to be paid for that. That would be actually cool. If there would be just some money coming from time to time. And I would love to work without worrying of sending invoices. That's stupid, but that's me. And
No,
that
totally.
would be
Yeah.
so. Sometimes it could be hard, but it would be much nicer. Yeah, that you just do some work, bring some value, try to be useful. Um, but at some point it may be hard. It may be hard to find something where you can be useful, which is still nice, because maybe if some of the automation will take a lot of work, and the only work that will stay will be like a really nasty work, and we don't want to do that. Yeah, like we want to do nice things. And like everyone who wants to do volunteering, there's also some level of volunteering that you go, oh no, that's like that's too much, too
That's
hard.
true.
It's like, it's uh, so I don't know. That's hard, and we all need some push to go outside of our comfort zone. And
Yeah.
I don't know how it would look like. Yeah, like we go to work because we have to send invoices, we have to work for money, we have to do that. And this is also good because this somehow we are forced to do things that sometimes we don't like. How we will live if we do only things we like?
Right.
That's weird. That's
That is
weird, because
very
it's
weird.
like at some point it can take us to what you said. It will be boring, because if everything is nice and there are no surprises, okay, so maybe everyone, or some people who needs this kind of surprises, they will do even more extreme sports. But on the other
Mhm.
hand, if you can have the same adrenaline just putting you know some augmented reality stuff, or just virtual reality, and have the same adrenaline, and that gives another thing. Yeah, so And then it takes us to all those science fiction movie when you just
Yes.
in the Matrix and you don't have to do anything.
You just have like the goggles on. You're just
You just you have all emotions you want. Yeah, you want to be bored, you are bored. You want to be entertained, you are entertained. You don't have to work. I don't know. This is really interesting. It would be nice to jump like 100 years ahead and see how it will look like. But on the other hand, 100 years ago, our grandparents they could also not imagine that it will look like that. So
yeah,
some
and
of the technologies. I remember the first iPhone when it was entering the market, and I thought it's so stupid, the phone without keyboard. It's like it will never work. Why? It's like and imagine living right now without smartphone. It's like it's impossible.
yeah, it's true. I guess it is hard to imagine. I mean, if you think about like what I predict is if you think about 100 years ago or even 150 years ago, a lot of the hardships or problems that humans faced were physical. Life was very
Mhm.
physically demanding, you know. You were a pioneer and you had to cross the plains to get to a new place, and physically it was very difficult. But it seems like now the challenges have shifted to much more mental. And I think that seems to be like that those are going to be the bigger challenges going ahead is it's just going to be more mental challenges, in the years ahead than physical or I don't know. I just
And
think I think about like, what is this world? We're all just going to be like sitting in these chairs with these like, you know, Vision Pro on, and people are going to be living these separate lives, and nobody's going to be talking to each other. And what
then you can have even
world?
more startups providing mental health support online. So you can have like a
Yeah.
nice visualization of your therapist, and you can just switch from your extreme sport to your therapy session, all between going to the kitchen for snack and back, or sometimes even without going to the kitchen because the robot will bring it to you. Yeah, but this is like there are so many movies about that. It's like we are drifting away too much.
Yeah.
It's it's I think we will figure out something to do.
Yeah, I think humans are, I mean, we've evolved this far. We will figure it out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. It will be different, and some of us may not like it, and we'll have to try to run away and hide from those changes. But yeah, but it will work somehow.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's very exciting to think about, for example, this idea of an immersive shopping experience where, you would shop virtually and it's like this 3D experience where you're in the shop and able to see in a 3D way what's around you rather than this flat 2D. What do you think about that as a shopping experience, like online?
No, it's too
No?
much.
Ah,
I don't. Maybe if it's more immersive experience, so you can touch it, you have some sensors, you can feel it. Because
yeah.
for me, it's being in the store and seeing 3D models is not only about seeing it in 3D. You can see it on the screen, but it's more about smelling, touching. So
So
that's
true.
just going in the 3D virtual reality. No, I don't think so. It's too complicated. Like a 2D is simple. You just want to, if you want to buy something online, like I see more opportunity in like a really good voice prompts that you are just
Ah,
you are walking on the street and suddenly you think you need new shoes, so you say, hey Siri, I need new shoes that will be matching my shirt, and it's like it's blue and it has short sleeves, and where I can get those shoes near my location. Yeah, so this is like a local shopping, or just suggest me something. So those product recommendations and voice AI may be much easier. Like
mhm.
having all those goggles just to see 3D product, I don't know. No, definitely not for me.
Interesting. I
But
love that.
maybe it's also a more global trend, because what like a
Mhm.
Meta tried to do that, try to create this a virtual world of 3D everything, and it's really not working yet. So maybe we are not ready for this experience, or this experience is just an overkill. Well, it's like it's overcomplicating simple things, and after all, and more simplicity in everyday tasks is better.
Yeah, that's very, very interesting. I love what you said earlier about e-commerce brands creating brick and mortar, and so that the shopping experience is not just, it becomes much more, you've said simple, but it's almost like complex because the needs of humans are becoming like the way they want to shop. It differs, but like sometimes I love to go in the store and feel and touch the fabric, but sometimes I want to go to that same store online in a different scenario. So it's like meeting the customer where they are, depending on whatever the job is that needs to be done. And those jobs are getting a lot more complicated because people want more and more convenience in how they want it to be more what they want when they want it. And having to meet those customer needs it's becoming much more challenging for brands because we're becoming much more demanding as consumers with what we want when we want
the
it.
experience is even like blending. That's also one of our projects, that we have a fashion store, and in the fashion store you have a changing room with displays where you can browse the whole inventory of the store. So for example, it's all covered with RFID, so you enter the changing room and the display shows you some suggested look at different looks or different color, different sizes, so you can choose what's in the store or what's not. So for example, I'm trying a blue shirt, but the display shows me that there is a red shirt. And red shirt, actually, it looks better there, but it's not in the store. So I'm in the store, but I can actually order that from this display directly. So this is a big question. If I'm in the store, but I'm ordering on this digital interface without talking to anyone in the store, if I'm ordering online or I'm ordering in the store, that's not so obvious. Or if I'm going to the shelf and I'm picking my stuff, and then I just buy it on my phone.
I've done that before. I'm like, they don't have some size in the store, I'm just going to order it online.
But sometimes they may have it it may be exactly the same thing that you are holding in your hand, but you are ordering online because you don't want to carry it home. You want someone to send it to your place. You don't need it today. It may be tomorrow, but today I don't want to carry a big bag of I don't know, winter jacket. So I want to have this winter jacket. I try it. This is exactly this winter jacket, the last model in this store, but I will buy it online because it's more convenient. So that's the experience is really, it's not online and offline anymore. It's more complex.
Integrated.
But yes, it's integrated, but in the same time, it's super important to unify that, because a lot of big brands, I think you know it from your like partners, clients, they still have a problem with defining the right goals or performance metrics per channel, because if you have this kind of combined channels, how you measure, if the store is really successful, if people buy most of the stuff online from this changing room, or if the changing room is working, if the store is having more orders. It's difficult, and it's I don't know many brands that can really do it the right way. Most of them, they still doing it the old-fashioned, that every channel has its own metrics and they need to reach some numbers, but that creates a lot of different challenges, that people in the store, they don't encourage people to go online because it's not their business. It's the same, if someone is online, they don't want to go to the store because it's expensive. You need to send it to the store. It's so it's kind of complicated, and it's not really my competences. I'm looking at that from a side. I'm just bringing technology to make it happen. But in this case, technology is just a small part, because it's there. It's not rocket science to build this unified commerce technology, but to analyze and make it work with people, with all the process, this is a big challenge. So unified commerce is the path that everyone has to go, but it needs time. It needs time and figuring out the best approach, how to measure that, and how to make sure that you really know the lifetime value of your customer, it doesn't matter where, in what channel the purchase is done. So
Yes.
that AI, all new technologies are coming to help, but I think there's not like a one single perfect guideline how to do that.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Attribution is just becoming so much more challenging to measure. And I think about like some of my B2B clients who are in e-commerce. And I mean, that's ultimately where we want them to be is, we have them where they have this e-commerce store that's kind of on the side, and they still have their internal salespeople that are doing their, calls and emails and offline sales. And these are legacy B2B companies who have been used to this way of selling, and now trying to integrate this online e-commerce way of selling is a completely different model that has to be integrated in the way they do business. But that is like ultimately the end vision. I mean, wouldn't it be amazing if there could be a complete integration of the front end and the back end of all of their technology stack and their operations first and foremost, so that all those offline stores are all transacting through that same e-commerce store, and it's not just like these separate things that are happening. It's all kind of happening together. But it takes a lot of work and patience to get there. Do you have any final thoughts? Oh my gosh, we're already over our hour, Kuba. See, this I knew it was going to happen. We were just going to keep on going because you're so interesting, and I like talking to interesting people. So.
Yeah, it's always interesting discussion. It's really hard to keep it in a frame, especially
Yeah.
all those topics are not simple. It's not like we can just
Yeah.
cover one question, answer. It takes to much deeper analysis or problems. So
Mhm.
I think after all, it's, we are trying to build a better experience. We have to learn. We have to somehow remember that tools are just tools. If it's a commerce platform, if it's AI, it's not to replace us. It's just to make us more efficient. This is how we started. That I'm trying to learn. I'm trying to find tools to make our business smarter and more efficient. And it's not really about making it. It's more about having people more happy, delivering work faster with even better quality. That would be great. The ultimate goal, and that's why we need all those technologies. But it's the final thought. I think that technology is great, but too much technology will not solve a problem. It will create more problems. So it's really right now important to choose smart, to simplify a lot of things. Choose the most important problems. Try to find help in technology, but don't believe that taking all the best technologies from the world and combining them into one system, they will suddenly or immediately solve all problems. Yeah? Every technology is causing its own problems, if we like it or not.
Yeah, that's a really good point. It starts with your people and your process, and really honing that in and having a very clear vision for what value you're bringing to the market and how you're going to deliver that value, and then building your processes and everything or refining them around that vision.
And analyzing. That's where a lot of those AI tools are really great. Like it helps to do a lot of experiment and analyzing. Because before you would need to hire like thousands of people to analyze those amounts of information. Right now, you can do it much quicker and get some good insights.
This has been such a fantastic conversation, Kuba. My gosh.
Yeah,
So good. Thank you.
It was great chatting, and
Yeah. Well, I know you're a big adventurer, and you like to do whitewater kayaking, I believe, right? Is that a thing?
Yeah, one of my things, but my favorite is a multi-sport called adventure racing. And adventure racing is a very exotic sport. It's like not many people know about it, that it exists. But there's a great opportunity. This is the first time ever that Hollywood thought about adventure racing. And there is a movie about adventure race that came to the big screen. Yes, this is Arthur the King. And it's based on a true story. So for people who would like to really learn about some pretty cool outdoor multi-sport, and it's a team sport, so it's even more interesting. That's like a family movie, but it shows a lot of interesting aspects of adventure race. So for us, for people who are like athletes in adventure racing, it's super exciting to see that, like the big players, big screens can now host adventure racing movie. So yeah,
It's
like
called Art of the King, like
Arthur, like the King Arthur. Just it's
Arthur
Arthur
the
the King.
King. Okay.
Yeah, it's about, yeah, like you will see about what it's all about. It's about adventure racing.
Oh, I'm super curious. I've actually never heard of adventure racing, but I'm definitely gonna
Yeah,
check it out now.
it's a
So,
very outdoor multi-sport,
mhm.
and it's also interesting that from the very beginning, there's like a team is built of 4 people, but they have to be mixed gender. So at least one woman,
Oh,
one man in the team. It creates a very interesting challenges because it's an endurance sport. You are on the course for 100, 150 hours non-stop, running, biking, paddling, and having 4 people with different genders, like being not sleeping for a couple days, having a lot of you know um, I would say sometimes stress. Sometimes you are tired after 2, 3 days, and you have to deal with that. It's a very interesting sport,
mm.
but a niche sport because it's hard to follow. Imagine like how to cover with media a sport that takes 7 days and nights. So yeah,
Very
Amazon
interesting.
tried that. There is an Amazon series, Eco Challenge Fiji. They did it in a pretty good way, but I think they spent so much money on covering that right now they put on hold and more editions. But it's also interesting. If someone wants to learn more about adventure racing, those two are really great. Both the Arthur the King and Eco Challenge Fiji. Eco Challenge Fiji is a documentary. So this is like
Okay.
some thousand teams. They got a camera crew following them on the course. So it's
It's
like
like Amazing Race for adventure racing.
yes. It's like a reality show, with Bear Grylls jumping from the helicopter and all that stuff. So it's fun to watch, but it's even more fun to be a part of that, to be a competitor. So
Um,
that's outdoors stuff is really a great retreat, something that helps recover, recharge batteries, like get really tired, physically tired. Because like I don't know if you feel it. Many people in our like IT or more less physical work have problems with sleeping because after a day of work we are super tired, but we are mentally tired. It's not a physical thing. So it's really like our body, like our mind is tired. We feel like it's like it was a disaster, like the whole day was super long, but our body is actually not tired. That's why we have so many problems with sleep.
Interesting.
And that's why
Yeah.
physical exercise is important. And I
Yeah.
can see that some people don't believe that I can go for a competition and run bike for 700 kilometers, and I just recharge my batteries during that. It's because my body becomes really tired, not like just tired from thinking and just
Yeah.
combining different strategies and thinking what to do next, where the business will take us, but just pure, simple physically tired. So that's a good thing.
That is a great thing. I'm gonna check this out. I've never heard of it. Yeah, I
Yeah.
love being outside, hiking, anything like that. It's just such a last summer, we took our family on a 3-week tour of several of the US national parks out west. We went to
Uh-huh.
Zion, and then we went to the Grand Tetons National Park, Yellowstone, and then we went to Glacier. 3 weeks road trip in a car with my family. We didn't fight one time the whole time because we were outside. It was
Yeah.
amazing. It's like the more time you spend outside, and I think, and it was just like, it just heals you. It heals you in a way that nothing else can. So I
Yeah,
love
and there
that.
are so many beautiful outdoors in US. That's like I love it. Whenever I'm in US, it's so like a big space. Like in Europe, it's everything is crowded. Even you go to Alps or some other places, there are nice outdoors. but it's not like you can walk for days and not meet anyone. And in US, there are still so many places like that. So that's amazing.
Yeah, wonderful. Well, man, this has been so great, Kuba. Let's do it again. Let's do it again. Thank you so much for your wisdom and insights. And I think you really shared some really great information on kind of what the future of e-commerce can look like, and what a great e-commerce experience can be. And thank you. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you very much.
And thanks everyone for tuning in. We appreciate you joining, and hope everyone has a great day. Talk to you later.
Yeah, thank you very much. And if you want to reach me, you can reach me on LinkedIn, and I will be also happy to continue all those topics.
Yeah, thanks so much for reminding. Yep, you can reach Kuba here on LinkedIn. He's also at snowdog.com. You can find him there too.
No, snowdog.com is a great US company manufacturing a Snowdog, like a snowmobile thing. Actually, a lot of people are confusing us. And we are Snowdog. Actually, that's a long story and funny story for a different show. When I tried to acquire snowdog.com for a long time, and finally that snowmobile company, it's not a snowmobile, but it's hard to explain. They got the domain. So from time to time, I got a lot of calls. How people can buy that machine. And so I think maybe I should create a reseller or a dealership.
You can create your own e-commerce store.
Yeah, I can create an e-commerce for Snowdog. So yeah, snowdog.com. If you are listening to us and you want a new e-commerce, just come to Snowdog, and I think we will make a deal.
Oh man, amazing. All right, well, good. Well, hang on for a second. Yep, and we'll talk soon. Okay, bye.